Today we're going to be making fire starters out of garbage. This should end well. So here's a bunch of crap that I put together from around the house, and 100% of it is free, 100% of it is stuff that you would otherwise throw in the trash. The piece de resistance is this beer bottle filled with bacon fat, and I'm a huge advocate of bacon fat. I think that it is going to solve the world's problems one day, and we'll find it in everything from home heating to space exploration to cure for AIDS. So this is going to be the most important element in our fire starter recipe today. Over here we've got a yogurt container full of sawdust. It's amazing how much of a yield you can get just from cutting a few 2x4s and some plywood. I suggest emptying out like half the container so that you've got plenty of space. When you mix the stuff, you're going to need the space. So I just got this sawdust in this plastic yogurt container. Over here we've got some random bottle. It's like soy sauce or something, and we're going to use this as a tamp to create the little pucks that are going to be the fire starters themselves. And we got a plastic spoon here. We're going to use this to spoon out the sawdust after we've marinated it in the bacon fat, and that we'll put into our mold, and then we'll tamp that down. Here we've got a hibachi stick, a used hibachi stick, and again I'm going to use this just to do the stirring. Here I've got some yogurt carton, the packaging that was on the outside of a yogurt carton, and whatever cardboard you have laying around is good. I'm just going to use this as like a surface just so I don't get, mess all over the place. This plastic container over here, I don't know what that was. I'm going to use that to store the finished product just so that I can, keep it sealed up and in a dry, safe place until I'm ready to use it. And this, well, everybody's got to take a shit eventually. So here's the procedure that we're going to use. First, I'm going to nuke this in the microwave and liquefy it until it's nice and runny, low viscosity, runny fluid. I'm going to pour the bacon fat into this container, and I'm going to keep adding it until I get the consistency that I want and keep stirring it with this stick. And then eventually, once I get what I want, I'm going to take the spoon and scoop some out and put it inside the toilet paper roll, and then we're going to tamp it down and turn it into this puck, and then we're just going to eject the puck and then throw it in there. Can you smell that? That's the smell of delicious slaughtered animals and progress. So I've had this in the microwave for about 3-4 minutes on high, and as you can see, it's pretty liquidy. So we're just going to start adding this little bit by bit. And it's already turning into kind of like a muddy, shitty consistency here, but I'm just going to go with it. Kind of like mixing cement in a sense. You get these like big lumps and then like a bunch of powder that didn't get mixed in, and you got to kind of stir it until it's all homogeneous. This should be fun when you burn it. It'll smell like wood and bacon at the same time. I like the smell of both. It's got kind of a brown sugar kind of feel to it. So if you've worked with brown sugar, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, that stuff, you could compress that into a puck pretty easily and it would hold its shape. And fire starters are useful for, fireplaces. You're trying to start a fire or whatever in your fireplace and you don't have any kindling, or maybe the paper's not lasting long enough to get the wood going. So you want something that'll last for a few minutes that will just sort of provide a gentle flame to catch the main logs on fire. I've been to the store and I've seen these things for sale, like 20 bricks worth for like $4. And they're tiny little cubes too, they're not that big. So I'm going to spoon my first sample out and see if I can pack it into this toilet paper roll. For the toilet paper roll, you're going to want to be able to pack it into a relatively compact disc, so you won't need the entire roll. So you can just like rip away whatever you don't need, right? And because of the way that they manufacture toilet paper rolls, it's really easy to rip them. So just rip it down until maybe 1/3 of it is left, and then just kind of tear away the excess. Leave the flat side that you didn't tear, leave that on the bottom. And then put it flush down against your working surface. And then take some of the sawdust that's got the bacon juice in it and just start feeding it into that toilet paper roll. You know, 1 spoon is probably enough to start with, and then grab your bottle here, force it into the roll, and push down. Looks like it's compacting really well, actually. It's got the cap all greasy, but whatever. Maybe put some more in. Repeat. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's pretty flat. It's got a nice flat surface on the top where I've been pushing on it. And the bacon juice is actually starting to leak out the bottom, so it looks like I might have put too much. But this is kind of trial and error. You kind of have to just, you know, experiment a little bit and see how it goes, and then you'll get the hang of, you know, how much you need to add to, how much fat you need to add to a certain amount of sawdust. So now I'm just going to try to purge it. I'm just going to try to, you know, lift up on the toilet paper roll, see if I can free it. And there we go. Actually, that went really well. It came out quite easily, and it's looking pretty good. Look at that. Looks like a little hockey puck. And that's just sawdust soaked in bacon. And if you let that dry, the bacon will get viscous and eventually solidify, and it'll turn hard like a wax, and it'll hold that together quite well. And we'll see how that lights up later on. So I'm just going to put that in our plastic container over here and keep working and making some more. And we'll come back to that later and see how that lights up. So stay tuned. So here you can see the batch is complete, and I've got maybe, what is that, 4, 8, 12, I got, looks like 13 baker's dozen of these fire starter pucks, from 1/3 of a, well, 1/2 to 1/3 of a yogurt container full of sawdust. That's how much I got out of it. And it didn't make too much mess. It was not that hard to do. You know, it took me about 10 minutes to make this. So I'm just going to let them dry a little bit because the fat is still liquid. So once it hardens and gets back to room temperature, it should be easier to handle these things, and a little bit, you know, the wood will be a little bit drier, so hopefully it'll light up a little bit more easily. But we'll test one of these babies out and see how they do.